Hello everyone, this video is going to be a reading vlog for, you guessed it, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and I'm so excited to read this because I've read the reviews, I've seen everyone rate it 5 stars on Goodreads. I also heard that people say that Fourth Wing is reminding people of Divergent, and this completely sold me. Divergent was my shit in middle school. I love this book so much. Fortress was my #1 ship. They held a special place in my heart. Still to this day, this series, I love it so much. I made all my friends go watch the movies when they came out. We're not going to talk about Insurgent or Allegiant because those ones are so bad. The fourth movie didn't even happen because the second and third movie sucked so bad because they switched directors from the first movie. The tone changed. So many things different. They didn't even stick with the plot. I could talk about it forever. I know so much lore, so much information in my brain about this series. So much, it's crazy. But anyway, I heard that people are comparing Fourth Wing to Divergent. Just reading a couple pages, there's already so many comparisons. Like the faction systems in this, and then you also have the quadrants between all the different parts of the college. It's literally so similar. Writers are literally dauntless, okay? Scribes, abnegation, Xaden, enemies to lovers, like, are we not getting Tobias Eaton? He's the trainer, he knows what's up, like, basically Fourth Wing is just Divergent, but with magic and dragons. I can definitely see the comparisons between this. I have only read a couple pages so far, so we'll definitely see what goes on. I also do think this video is going to have spoilers in it. I'm so sorry, but I just know that if something interesting happens, I don't think I'll be able to keep my mouth closed. I thought I'd just make a reading vlog out of this because everyone's just been hyping this up, and if it's anything like Divergent, I know I'm gonna fall in love with it, so let's just get into it. Can we talk about the opening of this? I know we've all literally seen that TikTok audio that's like, a dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead. Can I just say how iconic that is to open the book with? Something I find so refreshing is that everyone in here is 21. These are adults, everyone is of age, they can do whatever they want, whatever they please. We are not dealing with high schoolers, 16-year-olds, and I'm enjoying reading about people my age. Even though this is fantasy and this is so far-fetched, I'm just happy to see that. Very, very refreshed. I like that. Also, another thing is that I'm making my comparisons here. If y'all don't want to hear my Divergent comparisons, I'm sorry, but they are going to be in this video. I'm gonna point out everything I see. I have to talk about it, I'm sorry. But yeah, definitely seeing some similarities between Tris Pryor and Divergent and Violet, what's her name, Soren Gale in Fourth Wing. Because they're both like small, frail girls, and they're both going into like the warrior faction or quadrant. You know, writers are like dauntless, and they're just one and the same. Obviously one is like dragons and you could die and all that, but like also initiation and Divergent for dauntless is there's only a certain amount of spots, and like people could kill you in your sleep. They literally mentioned that here. His sister's all like, make sure you wear this suit because someone could still kill you in your sleep and like take your spot because only like a certain amount of people can get dragons or bond with dragons. So it's kind of the same thing as dauntless initiation. Only like a certain amount of people are going to make it through, and this only a certain amount of people are going to get dragons, and like, yeah. Obviously the stakes are a little bit higher here because like they could kill you, the dragons could incinerate you. Her sister Myra's all like, stay away from Xaden Riorson. He's a 3rd year and he's gonna try to kill you. And she's like, that dude? And turns out his dad is like the leader of the rebellion, or he led the rebellion. I don't think it's still happening, but like the one for the history books rebellion. And I'm like, how did this dude, if your dad started the rebellion against like the whole country or school or whatever, how are you being allowed into the school? Just some food for thought. How did you end up at the school, sir? It's also said this is like enemies to lovers, so I'm like, obviously this is Xaden. He's the enemy because he's gonna try to kill her. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm literally so dumb. It says it right here, right after what I just read. All the children of the leaders were conscripted as punishment for their parents' crimes. Mom told me they never expected Riorson to make it past the parapet. Then they figured a cadet would kill him. But once his dragon chose him, well, there's nothing much that can be done then. He's risen to the rank of wing leader. Wing leader. That's literally like for being so good at his job that he decides to be a trainer. I found another comparison. I'm so sorry. But when they're walking up to the quadrant they want to go to, all the other ones are like perfectly fine. You just walk into this little tunnel and you take it to the quadrant and you write your name on the scroll. Violet walks up to the writer's quadrant and you have to climb to get up there. You have to climb. Does that sound familiar? Divergent, after you know, the choosing ceremony and you drop your blood in a little bowl, she's running, she has to climb up to the train and then just to jump off the train. I just had to point that out. And also, Violet has a target on her back because she's a general's daughter, and like obviously they want to take her out because they're like, I'm better than you, like you shouldn't be here, special treatment possibly is what they think. And like Triss has a target on her back because she's Divergent, but like people don't know that, but like her main target is because she's from Abnegation, she like doesn't belong there. I'm sorry, I have to make these comparisons. My brain is going there, and I need to say this to someone. Dane pulled Violet aside and he's all like, hey, are you okay? Like, did you survive the night? Anyone tried messing with you? And she's like, no, I'm good. But she's like, I have to ask, why did we move from second wing to fourth wing? And he's like, oh, yeah, actually, that's because Xaden wants to kill you. And she's like, oh, lovely. That's exactly what I thought. Now I know. But he's like, I'm not gonna let anything happen to you, which is the exact quote. Another thing that makes this sort of like Divergent is that the cadets, like once you're in this training, you can't see your family for like this whole time that you're there. So obviously her mom is like the general, but like even so, if you're just a normal cadet, you cannot see your family because they want you to be loyal to your wing. They want you to be loyal to your quadrant. What does this sound like? Divergent, faction before blood. I'm sorry, but it sounds similar. Just saying. Divergent similarities. I'm just pointing them out as I see them. What I think is gonna happen though is that Dane is like her childhood best friend, right? One of Dane's first thoughts when he saw her there was like, okay, we have to get you back to the scribe quadrant. Like, you need to leave. I'm gonna try to sneak you out the back, all this kind of stuff. And she's like, no, my mom's gonna bring me back. I have to stay here. So in my mind, I feel like he's very protective over her, just like as he should be, because they're like childhood besties and like they obviously care for one another. But also him trying to be so protective of her is gonna like not drive her away, but I feel like Xaden is gonna test her in a way that no one else does. Xaden doesn't view her as weak, he just views her as an enemy. She's gonna see that like, oh, okay, he's testing me. He doesn't see me as some weak, fragile being like everyone else does. And that's probably going to be a determining factor in maybe the tension, enemies to lovers happening between her and Xaden. So where my mind's headed, I think is gonna happen is that everyone views her as weak. She's obviously gonna be like, okay, everyone, stop. I don't know if I also mentioned this, but since Xaden's dad was like a rebellion leader or whatever, all of the like rebels, their children have like relics on them, and the relics are like low-key tattoos. And I'm just saying, it's giving Divergent it's giving Divergent with the 4-back tattoo, because this tattoo on Xaden is like all up his arm and like goes up his neck and all that. That's just what I'm thinking. That's all. Some part of me still thinks that Xaden is like, okay, his dad was a rebel, right? And yes, he did an oath so he can get here and be like a wing leader and all that. Correct? We know. A part of me still thinks, what if he's like starting his own rebellion? And like, what if he's holding a grudge against all these people who like, you know, did his dad wrong? What if he's like starting a new rebellion and he's like not telling anyone about it and like no one knows, and who knows? This is where my mind is also going, in this direction. Like, I don't know. Obviously Xaden is trying to kill our girl over here, so I don't trust him, but like, enemies to lovers could be really good in this situation. I don't know. So I'm gonna get into chapter 5 and we're gonna see what's going on. And let's hope that Xaden doesn't get Violet, because I'm not even halfway through the book. He probably won't do that yet. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen. Let's hope he doesn't kill her. There's been so much that has happened. This right here is for my slow readers. This is for my busy readers. This is for my people who don't finish a book in a day. I see you, I'm one of you. I'm reading this book for maybe about 2 or 3 months now. I've just been so busy. I'm in school, I'm directing my own short film. Didn't think that was gonna happen. Really excited about that, but a lot of pre-production work is going into that. Don't have a lot of time for anything, dealing with all of that. I'm taking an advanced editing class, editing a documentary, and it's a lot. I've had no time to like do anything or have free time. So I need to get this finished though before Iron Flame comes out. I already pre-ordered it in November. I have to finish it by then. I have time. That's like 5 weeks away that I'm filming this right now. I'm definitely gonna finish this. I'm on page like 310 or something. That's my goal. I am finishing this book. If I post this video, you guys obviously know I finished it. The time that I was flying through this book, we had a family friend staying over, and his like room that he was staying in is right next to mine, and I didn't want to be like whipping out my camera and being all like, hey guys, so Violet right now and Xaden are making out. So I didn't want to be like that, because I'm like, fantasy books with dragons, kind of weird. Not that he would judge me, but I'm just like, I'd rather keep it to myself. Even though I'm putting this on the internet, that's besides the point. Anyway, I think the last time I updated you guys on this book was when I was in like chapter 5 or something. Now I'm on page like 300, about to read chapter 25. Our girl Violet almost died several times. Her besties, some of them have died. Now we're dealing with powers and magic and dragons. She's so cool. I love her. She is amazing. We'll talk about Xaden though. The tension between those two, oh, so good. And we had a moment like in Divergent where Triss was at the chasm, people were trying to kill her, and we had a moment like that where Xaden came in and she was in her apartment all by herself and people were trying to kill her, but he did not do what Four did. He handled it a little bit differently. Handled it way differently. That scene was so good. And then they finally made out. They finally made out. I don't even remember what chapter that was on. Like, let me see. But it was like 200 something pages into it and I was like, finally. We finally reached this moment. So happy. So happy. But it was under like different circumstances and they're both like, oh, it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. But I'm like, no, it should have happened. He's like helping her and like is giving her more knives and stuff. And he's like trying to help her training because he's like, if you die, I die. Which is basically not like in the sense of Divergent where it's like, you die, I die, I love you. I don't think they've gotten there yet. But like, if you die, I die, as in like, don't be weak. Like, get up. I don't want to die because of you. Because they have to. There's a bond, there's a connection. Oh my gosh. Literally in, what is it, in Threshing, she's about to die. They're not supposed to interfere whatsoever. Any of the higher ups, like the third years or any of the wing leaders, nothing. They're not supposed to do anything. He comes down, she's cornered again. The other cadets are trying to kill her. Ooh, that part, I was eating it up. I was eating it up. I was like, this is so good. I was like, just flipping pages so fast. It was so good. And another thing is that like the dragons can hear when you like have paired with a dragon and you're like the writer and all that, they can let you like communicate through your mind, which I find so weird because they're constantly like, you can tune them out if you like know how to do that, but they're constantly listening to your thoughts, but you can't listen to their thoughts. I mean, sometimes you can. It's just so weird. It's like so cool, but like so weird because your mind is like not yours anymore. But like it kind of is because you can tune them out, but like kind of not. I don't know. It's such a cool concept. I love that idea. But let's talk about Dane and Violet's relationship though. Girl, you need to drop him. He thinks you're a weak, like limp noodle. He just doesn't think you can do anything. And I'm like, Dane has no faith in her. Dane cares, but he's like such a weird character because he's like, I care so much, but then I'm gonna avoid you. I don't even know. Like, doesn't believe her in anything. Trying to like grab her face and use his powers and be all like, tell me the truth, I want to see your memories. And she's like, get your hands off of me. Just don't. And Xaden's like, I believe you. Xaden, on the other hand, yes, he is putting you through the ringer. He also thinks you're strong. He thinks that you can do things. So like, if we're picking here, someone who thinks you're weak and can't do anything versus someone who thinks you're super strong and powerful and has to see you as an ally now instead of wanting to kill you, I think that's up here. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Really wrote a whole paragraph and she's like, I've seen a lot of men and he's the hottest one I've ever seen. Something like that. Yeah, this right here. He's the most exquisite man I've ever seen. And living in a war college means I've seen a lot of men. Now, she didn't say that about Dane. She was just like, oh, he like looks really good after I've seen him as a child and I like saw what he looked like and now he's grown up. He looks like a man. Yeah, he's handsome. He's good looking. The most exquisite man you've ever seen. Xaden all the way. Xaden all the way. Now, please hope this plot twist has nothing to do with him trying to like rebel and like going against her. Please. Just please. Because I like him. But yeah, this book is so good. It's so entertaining. Even though people can say whatever they want. It's entertaining. I love it. So far the romance has got me gripped. I'm excited. Anyway, let's get back into reading this book. Okay, now we're having like a Divergent capture the flag moment in one of the last, squad battles. They thought they were done. They were gonna have another one the next morning. They're like, psych, after you guys just sparred and everyone's all sweaty gross, you're gonna have to go and acquire with your group with no leadership the most valuable object, weapon, anything that you think the enemy would use as an advantage against you in the whole school. So they're trying to go for the best information, and if you win, you get 6 points added to your overall like squad's number, which is also giving like Harry Potter, like that's 10 points for Gryffindor, like that's what this is kind of reading as, and I'm kind of loving it. But also it's kind of just like Divergent, when everyone has to be above the bar, the initiates have to get in, and like you get points for what you do. And Violet's like, why don't we break into my mom's office, the general? Let's break into her office. She's like, I know where she keeps all of her most valuable information. Her mom's gonna be pissed. She's gonna hate her if they get caught. She's gonna hate her regardless. She already doesn't like her. They're gonna go for information and bring it back. Anyway, let's hope they don't die if this is giving me major Divergent capture the flag vibes. Oh my gosh. The boys are fighting. The girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. It's so entertaining. Oh my god. In front of her sister too. In front of everyone. Dane is just not professional. Dane is not cool under pressure. And then you have Zayden, who's just he's saying whatever he wants. He's in a position of power. He knows how to get under everyone's skin, but it's kind of great. I'm sorry, Dane, you just don't measure up. You don't measure up. You can't help with the quirky, witty comebacks. This is all gonna come to a head soon and blow up, and I cannot wait for Zayden to beat Dane's ass. I just can't. It's gonna be so good. Like, Dane just can't win against Zayden. They kissed again, but the circumstance of it was not ideal. He just kissed her to stall because she was like, I have to stay, I can't do this. I have to stay and save my sister, I have to stay, I've got a powerful dragon. And then he was like, we're gonna book it. But I enjoyed it nonetheless. So, he meant it. I know he meant it. He had to have meant it. What was the first thought that came to his mind? Let me kiss her. Come on. I look really bad right now. I'm about to take off my makeup, but I thought I would check in on you guys on the book because I read a little bit more last night. I'm gonna read a little bit more tonight, but I thought I'd give an update. Right now, I am on chapter 32. So I'm making progress in the book, okay? And I think there's like 500 pages in here. There's 498. So I'm almost done. Look at this little sliver left. I can't wait for the next book. I'm so excited. Don't know what the plot twist is gonna be, but I'm thinking this might be far-fetched. What if her dad isn't dead? I know that her dad died from like a heart issue after her brother died. And I'm thinking, what if her dad didn't die? What if that's just what they're told? Like, what if that's what Violet was told? And that's why the mom hates Violet, because like the dad ended up like switching sides or something. Because she's like, I see your dad in you. And he's not actually dead, but she thinks that he died. I don't know. Is that the plot twist? I'm trying to think of the plot twist in my brain. Because my friend was like, yeah, I could kind of guess the plot twist. It was really good though. And I'm like, can I guess it? I don't know. I want to see if I can guess it before it happens, but I don't know. So basically when her and Zayden were like cleaning up her room after their time together, breaking lots of things, there was a book that was on the floor and they were like picking stuff up, and it was the book her dad gave her, this book when she was a kid, and they used to read together and had a bunch of like fables and like stuff like that, folklore if you will. But everyone thinks they're like childhood bedtime stories of like the boogeyman and stuff like that, but I'm starting to think this is real. All these stories, like, they're probably real, and that's gonna be what's happening in the next book, or they're gonna find that out was the plot twist at the end of this. Because he leaves her some like cryptic note about like, don't trust people, basically like don't trust people in power because they could be corrupt. And her and Zayden are like, what does this mean? And she's like, yeah, my dad got really cryptic towards the end of his life. Maybe he was just coming to his senses. We don't know. And Zayden and Violet need to get it together. They're playing this game of cat and mouse. Get it together. Zayden's gonna graduate and leave. He keeps saying, he's like, you're gonna regret this, we can't be together, like you don't want me, don't fall for me because I'm a bad guy, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, the way he talks about her, dude, just be together, please. Can they be together by the end of this? Or maybe it's not, maybe there's more slow burn that's gonna happen, or maybe we find out he's bad. Please don't be bad. What if he's in cahoots with her dead dad who's not dead? I don't know. I don't know. I'm reading this at a great optimal time so I can just go straight to the next one. This is great for me, actually. Maybe me being a slow reader is actually what I needed because it's timed perfectly from when the next one comes out. Okay, now this is ripped straight out of Divergent. Like, you're kidding me. You're kidding. This quote right here, it literally says, be brave. Are we seeing that? It literally says, be brave. That's like the antithesis, one of the main quotes of Divergent. The whole thing is about be brave, I know you can do it, be brave. Like, Literally be brave in the middle of this steamy scene. It's word for word. Yes, it's a phrase, but still, I'm not crazy. Things are adding up. The tattoos, the meeting by the chasm, the parapet, the most dangerous spot, the like dragon tattoos that they give the writers. You got wearing all black, quadrants, factions. You got near-death experiences from everyone. You are like initiate, and then you're a cadet, and then once you're a cadet you turn into a writer, and then initiate you turn into dauntless. There's so many things. Also the war games, capture the flag, the fact that her superior and her are dating. Also Tris and her superior are dating. Like, it's literally the same thing. There's more obviously that I'm not thinking of at this moment, but this is Divergent in a different font with dragons and magic and more death. Just crazy. But now, Xaden, what are you doing? They were just making out on a rock, and then all of a sudden these like Griffin riders show up. He's like, you guys are early. What? And they're all like holding Violet. He's like, hey, stop. You don't need to wield your magic right now. I'm so confused. I don't think this is the actual plot twist though, because I feel like this was like going to happen already. That means whenever he went on his like missions away, he was working with these people. And the Venin are real. They're literally saying, oh yeah, like the Venin don't ever come this far west. Like the Griffin Riders are like telling Xaden this. So like, obviously I kind of figured they were already real, because this is like outside of the wards, the posts. So like nobody actually knows what's going on outside. Besides the government. Besides the generals, her mom and Dane's dad. But also, he was like, oh, she needs to be part of my group for this war games. Are they not going back to the school? Are they not going back to the school after this? Because everyone, he's like, I trust everyone here, because he was like holding her hand and they were like walking. And he's like, that's okay, no one's gonna say anything. I trust all these people here with my life. And I'm like, are y'all not going back to the school? Are y'all gonna like take her on some other mission? He literally got her away from the school, away from her friends and everything, to join his group because she trusted him. And Dane was saying, no, like don't go with him. And then he figured out that they were together and he's like, fine, I'll miss you. And now they're gone. What I think is that he's gonna start making sense, and like, yes, he's gonna have the like conspiracy theory vibes of his dad, but also I think Violet's dad was also on that same track before he died. In that note, he's like, don't trust people in power, they're corrupt. That's literally in the little beginning chapter right here. Like they always have a little quote. They said that his, Fenriorson, which is Xaden's dad, before he got killed, he was like talking about a bunch of conspiracy theories and like saying all this stuff about people in power and how the kingdom was off and all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking he's probably still believing in what his dad said. Maybe Violet's dad and his dad were on the same wavelength. Xaden is probably with this same idea that his dad was carrying on, and it's actually going to be true. And Violet's gonna have to like go against her mom because her mom seems shady. The whole school and like them in power just seems so shady. And obviously her dad knew something was up. It's all connected. The dads probably had the same idea of what was going on. They're both dead. I feel like Violet's dad still might be alive because we don't actually know. Like, they had the same ideas. Xaden's gonna follow through or like try to come up with something, and he's gonna do the same rebellion thing in my mind. That's what I'm thinking. And it's gonna be true, and they're gonna try it. They're recruiting Violet right now. They're gonna be like, hey, everything you've been told was lies, and she's probably gonna side with them, and then she's gonna have to fight like Dane and her mom and all of that because like they're wrong. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to piece it together in my brain right now. Is he really bad? I hope he's not actually bad, but this is making me think otherwise. Like, dude, everyone knew everything. Like, even her dragons knew. What? He literally betrayed her. Everyone knew that there was like an ulterior motive for this, and all of the people in this group that he created all have rebellion relics on them. They basically set her up. He's like, I can explain. Do we want to hear what you have to say right now, Xaden? That's kind of messed up. Leo, her bestie, is like, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I owe him my life. Damn, she's literally here all by herself with this group of like 10 people. All of them are on Xaden's side. They all knew what was happening. Dragons included. Her dragons included. What's she gonna do? I mean, you have to hear him out, I guess, because he's not gonna let you leave. This is crazy. Does Dane just have nothing better to do than just follow rules to a T? And just use his power whenever? Like, I knew when he was using his power, because he was like constantly always like touching her face, and I'm like, girl, are we like gonna forget that he has a power that can read your memories? But no. It's brought back up again. I knew that was gonna come back. I knew that was gonna come back because he always did that. There'd be times where like Dane and Violet are talking and he's just like touching her face. I'm like, bro, get your hands away from her. We all know what your power is, but she never talked about it. She was never like, oh my gosh, like I shouldn't have let him do that, or like whatever. So like, can't believe he's just like, bye Violet, I'm gonna miss you. Like, we're setting you guys up. Basically, the dad knew about it. Everyone knew that they had just set Zayden up to die, and no one was like gonna stop it. And that's why the last thing he said to her was, I'm gonna miss you, Violet. Because he's like, you're dead. That's your bestie from childhood. You're just gonna be like, sorry. Okay, so she's been poisoned, and they're all just like, what do we do? Supposedly they're going to someone that Zayden knows, and they're all like, are you sure you want to do this, man? So it's someone really important. I'm about to turn the page, and it's literally his perspective. I'm like, okay, is it her dad that's alive? Is that who they're gonna talk to? His dad can't be alive because everyone saw him get executed. So who is this person? It has to be her dad. It has to be her dad. I don't know. So she's like poisoned with this like green stuff that was on the edge of a sword that the venom stabbed her with. She killed them though. She killed all of them. She's so cool. She killed all of them. She killed that one. Saved everyone's life. She's a badass, but whatever. She might die. So there's that. Just also very Divergent coded to have your main character, your female lead. So she's like paralyzed basically right now, and like her magic's not working. And she's just like, my body's on fire. I'm burning. And she keeps like blacking out. It's reminding me of Twilight, when Bella turns into a vampire, but they gave her morphine so she can't move, and she's just like burning alive. That's what it's reminding me of. And I'm like, damn girl. And like Liam died. What? Liam was her bestie, and he was all like, I know that you don't think we were friends, but like, you are my friend. He's like, I just couldn't tell you the truth. And all of this is that she also feels guilty for Liam's death, because she's like, I knew a little bit about this and I didn't know that Dane took that memory from me and used this as a setup. So she's like, I basically killed Liam. But she didn't kill Liam. Liam saved your life because you saved his. But Dane's a little bitch. How are you telling me you just sent her to die knowing that you set them all up? And you're like, I'm gonna miss you. Sorry, bye. Oh my gosh. And that means his dad and the whole like rebellion, they were all telling the truth. They were just trying to get the truth out to the people. Then the Bavarian government was like, we don't want to hear it, we know it's true, whatever. We don't want to tell the public about this. So they were just trying to get the truth out there. I only have 5 pages left. But like, I don't know, is she gonna die? I'm about to turn the page over to find out who this person is. It's Zayden's perspective. You're all cowards. That's the last, it's the quote at the top. You're all cowards, the last words of Van Riorson. Redacted. Oh my gosh, my battery's about to die. Let me change it, but what? So I finished Fourth Wing, and I'm just gonna say, this was so good. I thought it was so much fun. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. I really liked the characters. I liked the relationship. It had its steamy moments, and it did not disappoint. People can say whatever they want. I found it entertaining. And yes, it's not the most profound book I've ever read, but I enjoyed it. I thought this was so good. It reminded me of Divergent so much. Divergent was literally my whole life. Like, I kid you not. I had a fan account, I made edits, I watched that movie all the time, like, I read the books, I was invested in it. This just shows me how much of a crazed fan I was. I have a pillow. Had this since middle school. This one says, one choice can transform you. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm not even gonna get into it. I have socks, okay? Having to bring up Divergent and the similarities between it. I don't need to get into everything. I basically kind of talked about it a little bit as I was like reading it. Like, the comparisons between these comes down to the Dauntless Cake. And the be brave quote. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I was entertained the whole time. I loved the plot. I do like a romance book, but sometimes it gets boring because the plot is just like not there. Like I love movies and books where there's like some action going on, there's some plot, but then you give me like a subplot of where it's like the romance in it. I love that. I think that's why I love Divergent so much, because it like had the plot, the energy, dystopian, and then it also gave me the romance. And that's what this gave me. This gave me the fantasy aspect of it. Romance, the plot was good. I really loved it. Hate me, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say sorry because I loved this. Last thing that I want to get into is the theories, because okay, I saw somewhere on TikTok that someone was like, Jasenia, her scribe friend, Violet's friend. Yeah, it's true that it says this is all transcribed from Jasenia, literally preserved to honor the courage of those that have fallen. So are we gonna have a Divergent ending where we have our main character literally die? I hope not. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, this compares to Divergent so much that I'm just like, are we just gonna have Violet just like I don't want that. Can I go through that again? I don't think so. My middle school heart was crushed when Tris died. Like I knew it was gonna happen too because I read the books a little bit later and I already knew that she was gonna die, but I was crying nonetheless. There's also another theory that all of the Rebellion relic kids, they have 2 signets. That's what everyone's saying, is because Dane's dad, the general, I forgot the name of his dragon, but his dragon gave all of the kids the Rebellion relic. You know, like a dragon and the rider pair, the dragon gives the rider like a tattoo, which is what they can power their signet with. And all of the Rebellion kids got one of those. So I'm like, do they all have 2 powers? Because everyone's thinking, oh, Xaden has a power of like reading everyone's minds. And I'm like, okay, true. Before Liam died, I saw someone say that he was like wielding ice and that's not his power. I forgot what his power was again. But it's not it's metal, isn't it? It's metal. So everyone's just like, what if they have 2 powers? Which would make sense because they could possibly power a signet through that relic. No? Through the little tattoo. Basically, Xaden is alive at the end of this and Violet's dead. He could tell Jasenia everything that happened, thus her creating this book. But like, I don't want to read into it that much. But like, that could be true, I don't know. Also, everyone's saying that since they left off in the destroyed town that Xaden like rebuilt and Brennan's still alive, does that mean that everyone thinks that they all died? Because that could make sense. If they think that everyone's dead, like does Mira know that Brennan's alive? We don't know. I think Mira is on her mom's side and Brennan is obviously going for this rebellion. And obviously I think that the dad was part of this side too before he died. Does Brennan know that the dad died? He has to know. The whole world, does her mom, does Mira, does everyone think that they all died, like Violet, Xaden, this whole pack? But also her mom would know that they were sent there to die. So maybe she's just okay with it. She also okayed it because Dane's dad and her like besties and they like gave the war games out. And does everyone else think they were in a war game? Because they also say that in the war games people die, like that's where they lose a percentage of the writers. So now I'm just confused about that. I don't know. These are great theories. I've seen them. I don't know how real these are or how real they could be, but like these are something to keep in mind. These are something to think about. Maybe everyone has 2 powers. We don't know. I think that's everything that I wanted to bring out. But also, if this gets a Divergent ending, I'm gonna be so sad. I don't want that. So I just want to point out, I thought the dad was gonna live the whole time. For some reason I was like, no, it's gonna be the dad. It's Brennan. It's Brennan. Which like, I could have seen that coming. Whatever. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed doing a reading vlog out of this because it gave me a chance to like talk about the book, because I never really have anyone to talk about books with. I probably do. I want to say that I'll do a reading vlog for Iron Flame. I hope I do. Yeah. Anyway, I really enjoyed this book. I know everyone and their mother has read it, so if you haven't read it, go ahead and read it. Don't listen to what people say. If you like an entertaining fantasy, this is gonna be for you. Go ahead and read it with a little romance in it. Just read it. It's fun. I promise. If there's comparisons and I feel compelled while I'm editing this to write them down between Divergent and Fourth Wing, I'm just gonna go ahead and put them on the screen because for my own peace of mind, I'm not gonna go and list everything. And if I want to, they'll be here. If not, I'm pointing at nothing. That's okay. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Bye everyone.